Board of Trustees was sent by email to our official newspapers, the Asbury Park Press and the Post-Star. Please stand for the pledge.
Second. Got it.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, before we do roll call, we're going to ask for Mark to be sworn in.
You can swear, Mark.
I love me too well. I, Mark Fury, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and to the governments established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people, so help me God.
All right. Well, Pat, if you could just put that in the minutes that he did that.
Right here.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
She's on top.
Just want to make sure.
She's on it.
Yeah, okay.
Now she can do the roll call.
Yes, these are my moments of fame. So Jimmy Alvarez is not here. Danielle,
I didn't hear from her.
no. And Bruce,
Present.
good. Jerry is not here. Mark,
Here.
yeah, okay. Darlene,
Present.
Lee, not here. Maria,
Here.
Johanna,
Here.
okay. Karen,
Present.
Mike.
Present.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I have a motion to approve the minutes of the.
Motion.
Okay, can I, oh yes, there was an error that Dave pointed out to me, in that I got Mark mixed up with my favorite architect, Gary, so I was calling you Mark Gary. Sorry, so now it says Mark Fury, and you just got the new minutes, and I have them right here, if anybody wants to check in. Now you can. So,
Okay, so, yeah, I don't think I can use that. Okay, so it's just a motion. Okay, so I have a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay. Favor?
I just wanted to give you an update on the classes, and just as you can see, I kind of changed. I asked Sharon to kind of move things I know are going to be voted on to new business. So if you don't mind, the update will be for myself and Deb and Louis to kind of what happened over the past 2 months, what's going to be coming up, or anything that we discussed in the last meeting and how it's going. So we talked, if you remember, about the fitness classes and what we were going to do, because the classes related to the club. Well, the good news is that with just doing residents, the number is like perfect. It's anywhere from 15 to 20. She said she'd like somewhere 20. She says she's comfortable with 25, but rather. So right now we don't have a problem. It's working out well. Louis and I did look into the system that we have right now, that if we have a problem with future class, it looks like it won't do that, so we'd have to look into a system and see what the cost is. But we don't need that. I don't see a problem even for our classes. I did ask Barry if he was interested in what we were looking into. He said he wasn't, he felt it was okay, because our Healthy Steps class, we could have 40 people in it, because there's not much movement at all. It's mainly in the chair. And the Tai Chi instructor, she's fine with large numbers as well, because they're staying in one place. They're all doing the same thing. So just wanted to give you an update on that. It's going well, and the residents are really happy about it.
So they still have their 2 classes or 3?
So I'm sorry. So the one class is in the afternoon, which isn't as popular, and that still has non-residents, and that's about in the 20s too. That's for both. But the 2 morning classes, which were very popular, those are just residents, and they're right at the number that Erica wants. So it's working out.
What is the name of that class?
Strength and balance. that's really the update there. I was hoping, Deb, could you kind of give an update on the summer reading, just kind of what's.
Okay, yeah, we're launching. The registration should go live. Laura's doing the finishing touches and she'll have it up shortly. If everybody saw on Lewis's pack here, the schedule for this concerts, the one on the 21st is Mr. Ray, which is the launch date for summer reading. So we're set to go with that. And
We'll go over the t-shirts later,
okay,
yeah.
okay. So yeah, that's all ready to go.
Yeah.
Everything's done. Just gotta launch and get the registrations going. And I think what's gonna happen this year is, because of the concert, we're probably gonna have a lot more same-day registrations than we had in the past.
Great, great. I think that's gonna be great. I think we'll have more kids involved. We had a lot last year, but we'll have more because of the concert. What about the patrons? Could you give everyone an update, like what you're doing to go through the patrons?
Okay, so
list and
we're
everything?
very close to cleaning up the patron rolls. I have Donna working on that with me, and we set June 30th as our goal to have it all cleaned up, and she says we're pretty much on target. So what we've been doing is going through literally every patron and making notes to update the contact information, because we have a lot of patrons in there that we do not have contact information for, weeding out who's a resident, who's not a resident, so that we can fix that whole thing. And it's tedious, but it's going on, and it should be complete, so that we should have a really good database of who our patrons are and where they are and how to reach them if we'd like to, by the end of June.
That's good. And that's pretty much a once in a
Yeah,
decade kind of thing that you have to do. It's not like every.
after that, it's maintenance.
Right.
Which will be great when we have all of the expiration dates in there, because every expiration date, we can update information.
Not turn into the non-resident thing that you're not going to
Yes.
later, so that's great.
I think that's it, right, for you? Yeah, other
Unless
than
you
we'll
want
talk about the
something else.
t-shirt, okay. Louis, you're on?
Okay, I've gave you all a package of all the events, listing all the events that has occurred since our last meeting. And there've been a series of pretty, really good turnouts in generally all of them. The Irish Celebration and Soda Bread Contest was very well attended, that we had a grand total of 152 people there. And of course, the feedback, the response online about when we announced who the winners were was very widely viewed and seen as well. So it's getting to be a very, very popular event every year, that the Soda Bread Contest is one of our big popular ones.
I think it's good promo for the dance company too, because I think they pick up more dancers every time they perform.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the biggest. They love the dancers. The dancers are fantastic. We've had 3 now living history events since then. We've had Amelia Earhart, that had like 55 attendees. And Lewis and Clark also was very well attended. That one had, and you see the attendance sheet, 60 people were there. Okay, feedback on them was very, very good. And also, just past Saturday, we had the 3rd living history event, which was U.S. Grant and the Civil War Railroads. This was down here at the library, smaller turnout at 27, but it's ideal for this size down here. The next and last living history will be June 28th, Sojourner Truth. And that's also going to be here at the library, because of the Taylor Pavilion is going to be in use, as well as parking and issues on a Saturday morning in the middle of the summer is not going to be good. So it's going to be held here.
Just to let everyone know, the woman that's doing the Sojourner Truth is the one who did Harriet Tubman last year.
Yes, Dr. Daisy Century. She's very, very good. If the weather is really, really nice, we'll try to have the event outside. Okay, otherwise we'll have it in here, so on. So, and Dave and I have been working on a backup plan should we have excessive turnout registration, that we'll work with the elementary school to possibly have it in there as well.
Yeah, it's already been approved on the board meeting, and what's great is Mrs. Taylor is the one who stays there if there's something going on Saturday, and she's on our payroll, so we can pay her to be there, you know, to clean up, and that's only if it's not nice and we'll use the auditorium. It will have some stuff in it because they're getting ready for the play, but I spoke to Kerry and she's fine with it, and it was approved on the board agenda,
So the,
just in case.
oh, thank you. The other event that I'd like to highlight here is the Poetry Power Hour Spoken Word Jam. A couple of you, Sharon and Rihanna, they were there, and we had 9 poets that come in, including 2 professional spoken word poets, artists came to perform, and the event went very well. The poets performed superbly. We had like 52 people there at Taylor Pavilion, and they sat and they listened as all the different poets actually performed their poetry out there with a lot of passion and a lot of really creative wordplay in there, and it turned out to be pretty good. It's definitely an event I want to repeat in the future. I think that's something was that people enjoyed, and it'll grow over time. We had an author time event, Gina Economopoulos, I can say that right. Okay, she was a member, she was an author at our book fair, which I'll talk about in a moment, and she had 15 attendees down here, which was a great attendance for an author time event. Even sold a bunch of books too. And the other big event was the book fair. The book fair turned out to be, I think, better than I expected. We had easily over 300 people flowing through the event throughout the time that we were open. We had 43 authors, and we had just enough space to accommodate all 43 authors right there. Maria and Adriana was there, and they were very helpful in managing the authors and keeping them in line. But I kid, they were very, very good. We had no issues concerning. Some authors sold more than others, okay, which is the you know the way it goes. But our promotion turned out to be pretty effective enough to have that wide turnout right there. So definitely looking forward to the next one in October.
Right, and most of them did donate books to the library, which I
Yes.
thought was great. So
Mhm.
we have new books to put into our library from
Yeah.
local authors now.
Yeah, Debbie and I went through them and figured out which ones are going to be added, which ones are going to be utilized in other ways. That would be best for their design and layout.
And ironically, I didn't realize it when I was there, two of the authors were actually at the poetry also,
Yes.
which was kind of interesting, so
Yes.
we got to see them twice in a short span of time.
Yeah, absolutely, and they were good too.
Yeah.
They were very, very good too. And all the authors were all local Jersey Shore-based authors from the region right there.
Including Sandy.
Hmm?
Including Sandy.
Including Sandra right there, she was one of them
That's
right
right.
there. So, they sold some books too. How
We
many books
did.
you sell?
We sold 18.
18,
Wow,
look at that,
that's
wow,
great.
fantastic, that's a success
That's
story.
great.
That's great. So upcoming events, we got the summer concert series, which you see in that back page over there. We have US Penn, it was yesterday. Pat Roddy, we are lining up some pizza and hot dogs, we found a hot dog person. So we'll be arranging for that as well. And then we have Beach Music Studios Kids Rock Band the following, on Saturday the 14th. And then our next major event will be the Juneteenth celebration concert. Okay, I just was emailed and confirmed with the orchestra that they have applied for their grant. They expect to be getting it, and once they do, we are confirmed for June 19th at Taylor Pavilion. We have the orchestra, we have this, James Ellerby, the spoken word artist that performed at the Poetry Jam, will be back with us again, and he will be performing during the 2 orchestra breaks during the musical performance. Okay, and he's very, very good. It's going to be great. And then we are also arranging for food refreshments for that event right there. Nothing's set yet, but we're looking into different options we have right now. Okay. And also, we have the last one, Sojourner Truth. I mentioned it's going to be here. And then the next summer concert between now and our next meeting is Tommy B. and Deep Blue Sea on July 8th. There are other events currently in development, but until I have more information, it's not worth mentioning events. So, that's pretty much it going on. Does anybody have any questions on events?
Just a quick question. I know you said at Pat Roddy, you're gonna have refreshments. People on the boardwalk see me when I'm working and ask me, you know, do you guys have any refreshments for the, you know, like Tommy Blue, Tommy being deep? They're constantly asking me.
Financially,
Yeah.
like to do that for all the concerts, we don't
It's
have
too
it
much.
so much.
It's
I
fine.
think that, I personally think, but if you want me to
No.
analyze that, because it's very hard to, like, we know if we buy food or, you know, we just have bottled water,
Yeah.
we said refreshments. Maybe, I don't think we can have beers here, right? So, the thought, it's easy for Pat Roddy, because if we order, 50 pies, they're gonna go.
Oh, yeah.
But some of the concerts are, you know, there's not many
It's
people
not
here.
as crowded.
Yeah, and,
He
but,
opens the season and closes the season.
yeah,
so
but,
it's special.
but I know some of the bands have said to me, well, I think more people would come if you had food.
That's true. That's a big draw.
Yeah.
Look, we're hiring them to draw.
Yeah,
We can just provide food and get people here without them.
that's right.
Probably save a buck.
Any food trucks, any local food trucks, is there a permit that has to be?
So that was something I wanted to ask you, is that if you're okay with it, I could invite some, as long as Kevin's okay with it, when we shut down this road, that I could have some trucks here and maybe ask them for a discount. I was even thinking for Pat to get an ice cream truck and just ask them, you know, if they normally just take a buck off everything and have it paid for it. Do you not like that idea? So I can do that. I can look at food trucks that could come and there would be a charge and ask them at a discount because we're giving them business. And then also I wanted to ask you, I have it written down here, is do you want me to get an ice cream truck for Pat Roddy and they can park there, but we're not gonna pay for it, because with the hot dogs and the pizza, it's pretty, you know, what,
Yeah.
yeah, so you tell me, I can analyze it. It'd be less than $2,000, so we don't have to vote on it. If you want me to try to have food for the other concerts, I can, but,
No, I was just saying that people ask me on the boardwalk all the time.
Hey, yo, you got free lunch?
Hey, you guys having refreshments at the
Oh, yeah, bro.
band? And I said, I'm not sure.
You gotta remember-
But I just wanted to say, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, you gotta
That's
remember,
fine.
we still have to
That's
factor
good.
in, still have to factor in the budgets for like the Wally, for the holiday concerts,
Absolutely.
things like that. So we
Absolutely.
have a couple other events, major that we have to.
That have bigger draws, that have.
Yeah, that bigger
Yeah,
draw,
exactly.
Well, they have more of an enrichment element than simply serving food at the concert.
Yeah.
Right.
While events, it's understanding a component of the cultural.
Absolutely.
The cultural aspects of it. Here, it's just a nice amenity.
since it's packed.
I
but
wouldn't,
if-
I wouldn't be in favor of doing too much more unless we did like a roulette where we pick one concert, not tell anybody. So I get people coming to look.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Surprise.
Along the lines
Yeah.
of concert, I know we had, I don't know if it was a verbal confrontation or what, with the people across
Well,
the
he
street, remember?
changed the ordinance, so we're okay.
Good, beautiful.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, you know, prior to maybe,
I mean,
someone should go over there and say, we're having a band tonight.
Well, ironically,
No one should go over and talk to
I
anybody.
don't,
No.
I think it will.
No, it's already been taken care of with the
Yeah.
ordinance,
Yeah.
so that's fine.
Yeah,
and I don't think there were any problems on Saturday when we had the Porch Fest that went past the time. And there were a lot of bands that were still playing,
Still
so,
playing,
yeah,
yes.
I think it's just like, you know,
Very true.
yeah.
it's all good. It's
So-
all good.
It doesn't mean he might try to call the police, but we have the back.
We have the backing.
So,
We're covered.
Yeah.
Just one quick note on Juneteenth. Anyone who's able to come help, volunteer for that event, please let me know. We have just like you, some of the food options that we're exploring are, pork,
Porch sliders.
pulled pork sliders, a little side, like a mashed potato type of side, a mini red velvet cupcake, and a drink. So we'll need assistance in serving food as well as, managing the crowds, things like that.
Do you have a time
What's that?
limit?
School still
No?
function?
Do you have a time limit?
Yes, June 10th will be at 6 p.m.
Okay.
on that evening.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause this is happening.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Oh,
No problem.
Yeah, it's probably,
I was just wondering if they wanted
Juneteenth is the 19th, right?
That's the 19th, yes. That's a
Just to
Thursday,
be-
that's a Thursday.
Just to be aware that Juneteenth for the past 2 years, well, past 2 years at the beachfront has been insane.
Yes, they have been.
As far as like just people coming into town for that, because like some kids are out of school or something, but it's been crazy for us down there, so
Yeah,
there's
so
gonna be influx.
Yeah, so the problem is, you know, we can't move the date,
No, I'm
right?
just saying that's not.
Yeah, I know,
I'm just saying,
and,
I'm just
and
telling you.
people
that
will
the-
be upset about parking, but,
But not,
Yeah.
part- you're gonna find people wanting to come in to the
oh, I
event.
see, okay.
That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
That shouldn't be a major, because we're not gonna be doing any, actually, no, we could be doing any, do we want to do e-ticket reservation on this one? Probably not.
It might be an advantage, only because if you're going to have an influx of people coming in, because you know they always want to come into
We're
the
gonna want
restaurant.
track, we're gonna want all these tracks.
Yes, we wanna do
I
it.
think
All right,
so,
so we'll do
yeah.
it. Okay,
Yes,
we'll do that.
yes.
And
Okay.
then we still have opening for people to walk in, that's great.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
we can get their information as they come in.
Yeah.
With the,
You have a question?
No, for you,
Oh, okay, what's up?
when you get to it.
Oh, okay, oh, okay,
All right.
okay. She's trying to whisper. Give me the heads up. All right. So do you want me to do the ice cream truck or not for Pat
I think
Riley?
investigate to see if they could at least come by, it's
See
on
what
them,
interest they
we're not
have.
sub, we're
See
not
who has
subsidizing.
interest.
All right,
I know
It's
there's an ice
business for
cream,
them.
there's an ice cream truck
I-
that comes hunting by my office every day.
all right, I'll check with Kevin.
And also to
And
make sure
make
they
sure
don't
it's
play
okay.
music that day,
Yeah.
because that,
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
no.
the same,
Oh, no.
it's the same tune.
over and
Yeah,
over.
Okay. That's our,
Are the I can't remember with the food trucks or whatever, but do they use the generators or anything, or is it
They're
loud?
relatively quiet.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're relatively stuck.
Okay, good. Yeah, then I'd be in favor of them coming to other concerts then and rotating as well. There are some businesses in town that might prefer we offer, you know, those options first, or put it out to them first. But that's it.
I think we're up to treasurer's report.
All right.
All right, so our March budget amount was $397,475.40. We spent to date $130,961.64. Waiting to pay the vendor was $13,789.77. Which totaled the two of them together at $144,751.41, which left us with a balance of $252,723.99. And then in April, again, the budget was, we started with $397,475.40. We spent to date $176,738. Wait, let me start that again. We spent $176,737.48. Waiting to pay the vendor was $11,478.63, which put those two together gives us $188,216.11, with the budget of $209,259.29.
again, that's the partial.
Yes.
Partial
that's
order.
the
I'm
partial.
thinking at the end of this month, we'll finally have a full budget, I'm thinking.
Yeah, because April would have been the end of the first quarter.
Just a quick question on your report, Darlene.
Yes.
Waiting to pay the vendor, meaning those that have given us the service, those are the people that need to be paid, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Purchase orders and things like that.
And it does take a while.
So the purchase order might not have been signed yet.
Right.
Or it was signed after, it has to be approved at the meeting, so
Okay.
it's in that in-between stage.
Right.
But it's, as soon as the PO is done, that's a contract, therefore we're, you know, we have to pay that, so that's what.
Okay, my report is,
Windows came out last year's budget, so those aren't included in this number, is that correct?
Correct.
Have they been paid?
Yeah, it's all taken care of. Yeah, you know what, I don't know if
It's
I
a
ever,
lifetime.
I don't know if I ever brought up the windows, is everybody, I mean, I've been dealing with the facilities committee and the engineer, and is everybody okay with how they look?
Yeah.
They're, when we get to the point where we paint the inside, I think it will look even better. There's some spots that, you know, with the paint will look a lot nicer, but I think it worked with all of the problems that we had. I'm just happy. But,
Years.
yeah,
Yeah. How many children?
Dave, what's our overall budget anticipated to be this year?
I'm sorry?
What's our overall budget this year?
It's 900, it's almost $1 million. It's,
Okay, I was saying, we're burning 50 a month, so we're coming in around 600.
yes, yep.
So my report is really short. I really wanted to thank Bernie, who's been doing the wonderful landscaping around the property. I mean, every time I look at it, something else, he's working on something else. He was here again today. And it was just so nice to see that everything looks fresh. And the other part that I noticed is even where the windows were installed in the front there, all of the grass is starting to come back again, which is, we've been waiting for that for like forever. Because they weren't symmetrical, you know, both sides, when you look at the staircase, they should be the same on both sides, and they weren't for a long time, so they're starting to get there, so that part's really, really good. I guess the other thing that I was going to talk about, but I think Mike's gonna probably go over it, were the meetings that we've already held. We've held 2 meetings so far, one that we met as an entire group, and then one that we met specifically with the engineer. So, as I said, take it away, Mike.
Are you done?
I'm done, I really have nothing else.
So, a couple initiatives. One, the overall maintenance and capital planning for the project, and 2, how that dovetails into the strategic planning initiatives that were developed previously. Well, we've been meeting as a committee to see how best to advance those things together. It's been a bit of a 2-pronged approach that we're trying to take. One is operation and maintenance, and the other, I'm going to say, is capital improvement of both the long-term and short-term, figuring out what goals make sense for both. To advance operation and maintenance, David and his team have been putting together, basically accumulating the information that was otherwise just institutional knowledge, you know. So we're trying to compile equipment, the serial numbers on equipment, the part numbers on the equipment, as well as when they get serviced, who they get serviced, so it doesn't fall on one person to remember. So we have an actual operation and maintenance plan that anyone can pick up and anyone can advance. If there's an issue, you'll have appropriate contact for the vendors that we used. In talking with the vendors, ideally, you'll get to the point where it has the part numbers, so you can talk intelligently about the part numbers when we go to engage them. So creating a maintenance plan that includes all of our assets, all of our schedules, and all of our contacts in one place. So Dave's been compiling the data so far. As of the last meeting, we started to put it into a format, and then as we build it, we're going to refine the format to make it more user-friendly and functional, let's say. The next aspect is the capital improvements and long-term planning, short and long-term planning. We have various initiatives within our strategic plan, and we've sat down to discuss which goals are worth pursuing and what type of timeline. Conceptually, it's whether or not we look at something to do in the short term, potentially reconfiguring some of the spaces down here, or whether it makes sense to wait until we can compile that or join that up with a larger project. One of the 2 short-term initiatives that we thought would be very wise to advance is one, a survey of the property. We don't have a full survey of the property at our disposal. If we want to do any of the projects out here, that would be a tremendously helpful tool. If we want to improve ADA access, look at egress, look at anything that involves site development, we're going to need a survey to base it on. So we're advancing that effort to get our ducks in a row to move on. And also discuss with the engineering consultant that the town uses, putting together a proposal for the envelope of the building, the exterior of the building. Right now it's in pretty good shape, but it is showing wear to the point where a couple of years it'll be a replacement versus repair. So we want to get on the repair timeline. You can see it needs some cleaning, the whole building kind of needs to be painted at a minimum, and going from there. So we've asked the engineer to give us a proposal to see what it would take to put together a package to bid that out. Looking forward to getting those things in place, we felt that the envelope would be something that we could very likely get done this year. It's not too much to bite off, it's not overly complicated. And then as we continue to meet, we're going to better refine our efforts for the long-term plan, which I would say be, say a 5-year plan. You know, can we reconfigure this space? Is there a larger project that we want to look at, those sorts of things? How can we bundle the things to get the most efficiency for our dollar? Anyone have any questions?
Where did as far as the expanding our bathroom, making sure we have an accessible bathroom, where did that fall in with the facility committee?
Right now,
Because that seemed to me that was a high priority for our committee.
That's also a very high expense. So it would only make sense to do the bathroom if we were reconfiguring downstairs and how best to do that. You know, we have a lot of space down here that's, I'll say, poorly used when you start to look in the back of the building. The way the boiler is configured, the way the elevator pumps are configured, the way the storage rooms are configured, it would make sense to basically rework that whole side of the building at once to get the most economy. We did not want to rush the bathroom aspect of it at this point, because we thought we would lose value. We lose cost efficiency in rushing that portion of it. So we want to see how we can reconfigure the downstairs space better and roll that into one project, because bathrooms can involve moving walls. Once you move a wall here or there, it pushes into everything else. I would say that would be something that we're looking to refine as we go forward in the next, I would say, probably 1 to 2 years. We would have an answer, if not, advance some movement on that one. One of the complicating factors is the space in the back with the boiler. Boiler is showing its age. We also have 2 other heating and air conditioning systems in the building. Together we have 3 heating systems in this building. How can we better consolidate that into a single system to free up the space, because space down here is at such a premium. You know, so it's a couple of items that bump into each other that make it a bit more complicated. You know, nothing that we can't overcome, but if we want to get the best value in reconfiguring bathrooms, then we should reconfigure the whole space, and then we should optimize how much space we have to work with. You know, if we could dedicate the back side of the building where we have the elevator pump and the electrical panel and the furnace to other uses, we can gain back a couple hundred square feet here or there, which would play it all together. So coming out with a long-term strategy to best economize that is the goal. The short answer is, I would think by the end of the year, we'll have a plan to move forward on the bathroom with the when and the why, with the goal of addressing that in the next 1 to 2 years.
Is there I understand it's not as efficient, but I guess, you know, my biggest concern is just making it accessible. It seems that we're putting a lot into bringing people into the library. I feel like this is, quite a priority. Is there anything we can do to reconfigure this bathroom the way it is to make it compliant, at least?
Maybe the next step is figuring out exactly what the non-compliances are. I don't have a sense of that at the moment, but getting consultants to figure out exactly what the non-compliances are, because it's not far from being compliant. If the strategic planning committee has insights on that, we'd love to hear that level of granularity and detail.
Can I ask a question before I forget it, or do I have to wait?
You really have to wait.
Okay.
Would the ADA committee have any input on that?
That's a great question. I don't know. I mean,
They
this
probably
is
have
the
the
library
figures of-
here, we would have to be.
Well,
Because they meet here all the time.
Right.
No, I think the answer comes down to a code compliance
Okay, yeah.
position. It also goes into the New Jersey Uniform Construction Code Rehabilitation Subcode, since we're not a new building. You know, so how that plays into it as far as, one, our legal burden for accessibility, whether or not we are or not accessibility, and what burden we have to do it. And then 2, our own stance, we obviously want to make the building as accessible as possible. So beyond what we are specifically burdened to do, we want to take a step to make things as compliant as we can.
Yeah, I think, Maria, the other thing we looked at when the gentleman came and he was walking around, you know, he was talking about how, you know, with the building being so old, you have to really watch anything that's going to be moved.
Sure.
So, you know, we wanna make sure we keep the integrity of the building,
Sure.
but also be able to work with, you know, what we want to have, which is, of course, a, you know, a compliant bathroom. That's number one.
I thought, as Mike brought up, there's a good chance that we might not need that boiler, which is a huge amount of space, because we have two other systems, and it actually, the heating, you know, with what happened here, they're not just worried about the boiler, they're worried about the pipes, and how even if we get a new boiler, we're gonna have pipes maybe bursting like they are. So if we don't need that, it could really, that space could be used to really have, you know, two nice bathrooms, you know.
And the issue being, to just modify one bathroom, you're gonna be paying significantly more per square foot than if we have a wider project to handle. You know, modify one bathroom would cost the same as actually installing a new one if we do it in a thoughtful manner.
I mean, is it reasonable to believe that within 2 years we could have that project done? Or that's?
Perfectly reasonable, if we decide to prioritize that and
As a
overall.
collective group,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, old
Now,
business.
mind you, the idea of the committee is just to get down into some of the detail on this. It's obviously the entire board that decides where to go. Not taking it away from the board and us get to decide everything. It's just trying to shake out the details.
Yeah.
And we took recommendations from the engineer as well.
Okay, old business. Anyone with old business?
Just a quick thing, reminder, did everybody do their financial?
I checked with April, yes.
Good.
I did ask her on the 29th, I was like, is there anyone I have to haunt? And she said, no, everyone's done. I said, we'll let you know about that.
I see April's line, because I'm having a problem, where you put in the pin and then it doesn't come up with a position.
Welcome to the door.
Yeah, it used to be with the
I had that
school
problem
board,
over here
With the
too.
school board, it comes up and it says school board, and
Yeah,
you click
yeah.
on that, and then it gives you, so it won't let me open the document itself,
Okay.
because there's no positions.
Okay. Same thing with you, happened with like you?
I had a first time evolution issue and I tried to log on. I think it was a similar issue, but
Yeah.
not quite the same.
Okay.
It seems like this system requires a couple of bugs to be worked out.
There.
All right, well, do you need me to talk to April, or?
No, I can do
Yeah, you
it,
got-
I was
okay.
going back and forth with it.
Okay.
And
Great.
since he's officially now,
Yeah.
would that be?
Well,
yeah,
that's what I
is that-
said
yeah,
to
that's what I was-
April, I mean, I know you, I don't know, you know, the statute in terms of whether it's official when he is appointed by the mayor, or he needs to be appointed and then he goes
Sworn
under
in.
oath. I thought it would be, you wait until he does his oath.
That's what I thought.
So that's why I thought, you know, you wouldn't do your financial disclosure statement
Yeah.
until that, so now you have, so, yeah.
April will have to open up the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. They could just, it's the same as with the school board, so
Yeah,
they could just fish that one
but
out.
there's strange questions, right?
Mhm.
You're always like, oh,
Have I answered this last year?
All right, new business, Dave, you got a bunch.
okay, so why don't I jump, I think this will be easy, these will be easy based on the meeting last time. We have to have a resolution for veterans, and also do you wanna throw EMS in there? So we talked about veterans being $20 instead of $40. We didn't actually have a resolution, I don't think, in the
You
minutes.
said no fee.
I thought veterans were no fee.
I'm sorry, no fee, not
Yeah.
$20, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that. Veterans would be no fee, so if we're okay with that, but the question is, do we put EMS in there, do we put other workers, firemen, police officers, you know?
We had that situation down at the beach where EMS,
Right.
then they had to eliminate that
Right.
because there was a state statute or something saying that you can't do that. Veterans were okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Remember that, we had to stop that with the EMS,
Right.
fire,
Yeah.
police.
Yeah. So
Yes,
it's only, that, yeah. because
yes,
it's
we
like-
had to stop that.
And it
Stop
could be
it.
because they're paid, so it might be considered a paid position.
I'm not
Mm-mm.
sure
Doesn't
why,
matter, I
but
know, yeah.
We had to stop doing that.
For the badges.
Yes.
Right.
So I don't know if it's a similar situation, would be here or not.
So why don't we
I
do
think
this,
that
would
was
someone
it.
do a resolution for veterans being free, and then I'll research that, and I'll get back to you, how's that?
Yeah,
So if someone could,
I'll make, good, good, I'll make that motion that, veterans,
free library card.
yes.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
All right, that's all right,
Good job.
that's all right.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great, that's done. Okay, now, in terms of the hardship, spoke to Maria, our thought was to have a three-person from the board, three people that would be willing, when someone comes to us and says they can't afford it, that we would ask for some type of documentation, and then the decision would be made individually. I'm sure we won't have many, but like for example, if it's any of the parents, I would just have them write a letter to me that, or I would just have them show the documentation of the free and reduced lunch application that they provide to the school, loss of job, whatever that committee wants to, someone comes and asks, I then meet with that committee, say, here's this person, here's the situation. I think it should just be for Lake Como. I don't think, we talked about not just opening it up to everyone. Obviously, the residents are for free, veterans are for free, but we don't have to have a resolution or anything. I just want to get, is everyone okay? And I need three people. I think it would be good to have three people that would just be willing to meet if we have.
I'll be on the committee.
Okay.
Would this be an ad hoc committee that changes on each event, or a standing committee that would be the same people
Ad
over and
hoc.
over again?
Yeah,
Ad hoc.
Ad hoc.
Yeah.
cover it all.
You should, it should probably be a standing committee so that the criteria is more uniformly applied.
Okay.
If we have too many people rotating in and out with different opinions, then all of a sudden we become arbitrary and capricious in our evaluation.
Okay.
If you have a standing committee that handles it,
Okay.
then they have the institutional knowledge and the backlog of previous cases so that it can be applied in a fair and equitable manner.
Okay. So with this committee, then we'll establish, the standards that we'll go by. Is the board in agreement to that will be?
That would be a solid approach.
So we
Okay.
have
I don't even know if it's necessarily strict standards,
Which is
because I would be
keeping
hesitant,
it
I would be hesitant to
uniform,
ask for
yeah,
specific
uniform.
personal information
I
from
think,
people.
yeah.
Right.
They need to
Donate.
demonstrate a need, if we're gonna
Yeah.
go down this path,
yeah,
they need, a need needs to be demonstrated, and I think there could be flexibility in how that need is demonstrated, so long
Yeah.
as it satisfies what
The
the
committee.
committee is.
okay. Okay, great, so Pat, Darlene, I need one more. Anyone
I
else?
mean, I'm happy until December and then.
Till December, okay. We'll do that. Okay.
Will Debbie want to? Is that right?
No, I think it'd be best as a board and not staff,
Okay.
yeah. I spoke to the staff about it, maybe I think it's
Okay.
board. Okay, in terms of summer residents, our recommendation would be that we have a $20 card for people that come with just, that have a lease for the summer. Let me give you an example. There's people that come from out of state, they get a card, and then they're gone for the whole year, and they're getting e-books, and it's become pretty costly. A lot of the local libraries are saying no out-of-state cards because of that reasoning. However, they're here for 3 months. $20 would be reasonable if they want to, and it would be cut off at the end of September. That's kind of our thought, that they are living here, they are here, possibly from another state. That was our thought.
It's only for 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
A summer card.
Summer
And
card,
then their card expires.
and then it expires.
What's what do we?
$40 for
$40 a year?
Yeah, out of town, 40, free for residents, free for veterans. So it would be $20 for,
3 months?
kind of just wanted to keep it to $20, so it's.
Administratively, is there any difficulty in that, or is it just a matter of putting
No,
the
it's just a
system
question of
in
putting it
place?
in the system properly with an expiration date at the end of the summer.
And we have a meeting on Monday, we're gonna go over it based on what you decide tonight. So if
So
that's.
they have the
a-
option though to pay the full 40 if they want to
They want
stay
year-round,
on
if they want
further,
year-round
or if
access,
they're
yes.
Yeah, but if they're out of
whatever.
state,
If they don't have, yeah.
but if they're out of state.
That's it, some
You see what I
libraries
mean?
offer paid cards to anybody in the country. A lot of them are saying no more. They won't issue cards to
Yes.
anybody who does not live in the state.
In the state, okay.
So that's what we're talking about, people
Is
that
it-
come for the summer who don't live here.
So would it end August 31st, or
Well,
would it end September 50th?
Yeah, September, I
September
think,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, September.
Basically Memorial Day to Labor Day.
right, pretty much.
So if anyone would be willing to do a
Make a
motion.
motion, I make a motion that we do $20 on summer library.
I'll second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Just checking.
Okay, does anyone have a problem with us not giving out of state? I just want everyone, to understand, it's just becoming so costly with the e-books, so I think, I know Spring Lake and Seagirt, I think they're getting.
And a lot of out-of-staters do have library cards in other states, so they can get their ebooks
Right.
through there, through
Right,
their own, through their
but
own library.
sometimes ours, we have a better
I
system,
know we
so
have a
they
better
may
system.
use
We don't-
ours.
We don't wanna
because we
promote
yeah,
that, no,
right,
we don't,
yeah, so
I'm
that's-
just saying they could use their own.
Yeah, they can, and what they do is they learn that there's
Yes.
less of a waiting with
Yes,
ours, and,
yeah.
so, or they can
Keep that
get
on the
it
down
at a
low.
better, yeah, right. Okay, there was talk about summer hours,
Wait, Dave, before,
oh,
there was
yeah.
one more issue. We said that we were gonna issue, fee-free cards to any Belmar students, even if they don't live in Belmar. So anybody any of the kids could get free cards,
Mike,
but
oh,
the
the parents.
parents.
Yeah, so the question is, do you want to, we're giving it to the kids already, that was you did that in the resolution last meeting. Do you want to do it for the parents, which would, again, be Lake Como?
Not
maybe-
really. I don't think so, I don't know if anyone else has a different opinion. My reasoning behind the students is the way that the community works with the school.
Mhm.
I think we're more likely to get Belmar resident children engaged if other peers can also be equally engaged. So it's quote unquote self-serving in that regard. You got the idea that to make it most appealing to our tween community and young adults. I personally don't see a need to keep expanding the umbrella beyond that. I think we need to start drawing lines in certain places, and I don't see a justification for extending beyond that.
For getting the free.
Well, they pay into Monmouth
For
County, so
getting-
they can
yeah.
use Monmouth County Library
Right,
right now.
exactly.
Yeah, and if they're challenged financially, they can go to our committee.
Right. I think
The
that
kids
part's
are
really
important.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right, great. Okay. Summer hours, there was some talk, remember we went to Sundays. It's pretty quiet on Sundays, and during the summer, it's even more so. Do we want to not have library open on Sundays, and do we want to go back to 9 to 2 on Fridays just for the summer? I know there's other libraries that do that, there was some talk about it in the past, so I'm just bringing it up for a discussion and a decision.
We've never been open on a Sunday in the summer, have we?
We've never been open, no.
I'd be curious to see how it goes before
Okay.
we make that decision, get some feedback, because I know things do tend to change in the summer. I don't know whether it's gonna completely die off, or whether we're gonna get a couple more people in.
Okay, our next meeting, we could make the, if you wanted to wait till then, our next meeting's in July, so we could decide then, I could have data for you. We could have data based on 2 to 5 on Fridays and what our Sundays are.
I also know that Sunday, more and more people are realizing that we are open on Sundays, and one of the biggest things that they seem to use are the computers and the fax machines. Every time they come in, we didn't know you were open on Sundays, and because I'm here every day, and I've found that a lot of people really appreciate that option.
They do.
The fax is like a big draw on weekends, so I've
Or
come
they
in
need to
several
print
times.
something
Or
out,
they
something
need to print
happens,
something.
or they need to have it for Monday. Also, Laura is here to provide tech
Are we
support.
8 hours?
9 to 2 on 5 hours on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, so it's about, the whole summer costs us about $3,000.
So if you figure 40, it's, yeah, each 200, yep.
How does the staff?
Funny how that works out.
If staff's in favor of, you know, the summer
Well,
the staff that we have now,
the staff,
continue.
the staff's a little mixed, because some are like, fine, and some are like, oh geez, that's a lot of money that I'm not gonna have for, you know, for the summer. If they
we're
work
not.
Sundays, you know what I mean? If someone works Sundays, they make about $100, you know, they make much money. Some of them more than that, but, you know, times that by the whole summer, that's a lot of, you know, and then there's other people. What's that?
It's at $3,000.
Yeah. And then there's other people that are like, fine, you know, so it depends on the person, you know. So I'm just, you okay with, we'll make the decision in July, I'll give data, I'll have data for you, okay? Cool. All right,
So as far as Friday, so you can make a decision on that.
yeah,
You have to make it short.
I'll give you Sunday from 2 to 5, people that will be here on Fridays, I'll give you that information, and information on Sundays, how many
Right.
people come. How's that? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're 9 to 2.
Well, we would I think we should definitely be 9 to 2 on a Friday.
Right, that's what I'm
You know,
saying,
definite,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and then the 2 to 5, do you want me to give you, or you wanna stay open until 5 on Fridays? I mean,
I
it's
do
up,
2 to 5 during, I mean, 9
9
to
to
2 on Friday during the summer.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know, and then going into the fall to go back to
Yeah.
9 to 5.
So I'll give you that information then, from 2 to
Yeah.
5, okay? For July.
It
Okay.
seems like in the fall and winter, we get more of the school population
Mhm.
Right.
on Fridays. so-
Right.
Yep. Yes, we will.
We can pump it up at Mr. Ray's event, you know, pump it
Yeah.
up. Come in on the weekends.
So we have a purchase that we would like to do that's over $2,000, some furniture, and Deb's gonna talk to you about it, and see if you would approve it.
Ran it off in a hurry.
I know, I told her
okay,
last
so
time.
we looked over, we want to get chairs, seating, comfy chairs, 3 chairs, 2 to go in the children's room in that little corner where the rug is, and 1 over in the adult room at the end of the book rack. So that would be 3 chairs. We wanna take that old metal, I don't know if any of you have seen
Magazine
it
rack.
recently, that magazine rack that's like, I don't know what that is, throw it out, and get one that hangs on the end of the bookcase. And, you know, that little bench we have by, a new one, that has some storage underneath that we could use. So there's pictures of what we're looking to order, the chair, the bench, and the magazine rack. And I'll just pass them around if you, the prices
What's
are
the
on there.
what's the total? It's about
The
6,000.
total's about 5,000
5,000. Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Oh,
So
I wrote
it's
on the
over-
back,
Yeah, it's
a little
over,
over 5,000.
it's over 2,000, so that's why I'm just asking.
Do any of the
Yeah.
chairs, will they all be like this, or will any of them have the arms?
No, no arms, we didn't
Okay.
want arms, we
Why
wanted
did you
them
want
just so, well, because we could push them together if we need to, we could have, and I think the arms take up more of the space, sounds silly, but it does take up more space when there's arms. And
You
they
should try to
also,
see more comfortable though.
yeah, that's true. If you want, I would say we could get one with arms for the adult room, but not in the kids' room. I would get the 2 armless and maybe one with the arms for the
These
adult
kids
room.
rolling off the side of chairs too.
Kids be climbing on the
might
side
I
of
bring
the
it up,
arms.
I bring it up because I actually, I purchased guest chairs for my office
Uh-huh.
myself, because the company didn't provide ones that I liked. And I went back and forth with that quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a proponent of the arms.
Yeah.
for
Most of
several
the,
reasons.
we were thinking of it in terms of story time and Sue, who does story time, and Joyce, they liked the no arms because it gives them more ability to be flexible with what they put next to them for their books or whatever, and have the kids. And it does take up less space, it's not that big of a space. And this would also, this is just the generic picture they show you, the ones we get is a heavy grade vinyl that's much easier to keep clean. Yeah.
Yeah, my one thing is at least let's purchase one that has arms, because if you have any, I'm learning all about hips and knees and all sorts
Uh-huh.
of stuff.
Yes.
And I think for our older population and
I
for
could
those
get the
who are
armchair for the
disabled,
adult room.
just one would be
Right.
great for at least our facility.
Right.
That, you know, if we need it for anything, we can probably
Right.
carry it down here if we
Right,
needed to, right?
Yeah,
The issue is how long you want somebody to sit. If you want someone to sit and read a book, you need arms. If you want someone to just sit because their knees hurt, then you give them no arms.
Right.
And they get up.
Well, I have the bench there and no one uses it.
They need those arms to get off the bench.
Yeah.
And we really don't have anything
We don't
with
have any
arms.
chairs.
And they have to use the table.
I miss the brown chairs we used to have down here for all of us. I just thought they were so comfy. I know they were disgusting, but I know they got torn up. They were so comfy. But anyway, I love that bench, that's great.
All right,
Storage,
so-
that was furniture, okay.
Is there any?
Where's the bench going?
I'm sorry.
Where's that bench going?
Where we have a stool, right, a bench right now by the, where you come in the door around facing, if you're standing facing the front of the
Where
library, it's on the,
Winston sits.
it's right
Yeah,
there.
Winston's.
Where you
Winston's
climbed
spot.
up,
Oh, yeah,
right
yeah,
below
yeah.
there. That bench, the one we have is falling apart, it's,
Oh, I understand. Okay.
So is there anyone that would be willing to, do you have the exact number, how
I
much it is?
wrote it, do I have it back in there?
Well, if we had arms, it might be a little bit
Where are we
more
getting the
expensive,
chairs
right?
Oh, let's see.
Where's it,
Yeah.
where's it coming from?
Debco, it's a library supply,
It seems-
But can we
seems-
just approve that it's over?
I can see if
Yeah.
I have it here. in the-
We're gonna get one with arms, like you said, it might
Oh, yeah, it'll be a
cost
little bit more if we add the
So
one
if you
with
say
arms.
6,000.
5,145 as it
So if
stands,
you-
but I think that's without the shipping.
Yeah, if you say up to 6,000, that
Right,
would,
that'll
that
cover
will
it.
cover it.
The armchair is slightly more.
Yeah,
I
this-
added
this
it up,
times
it's
three?
5,145, but that's free shipping.
Huge range in prices for chairs.
Oh, yeah.
And some of it does come down obviously to quality.
Well,
Yeah, so
Demco,
to
I
buy
know is
something
good
for,
stuff, yeah.
Public space is one thing, but $1,300 for chairs, I'm looking for chairs, so I just want to make sure that it is.
Yeah, they're-
Where the
they're,
value is coming from.
Yeah, they're big library supply, public libraries,
Mm-hmm.
all over, school libraries. The stuff in the school libraries is almost indestructible.
Okay.
These things are built to last.
Yeah.
And,
Understood.
they'll stand up, they'll stand up to punishment.
all right, so I make a motion that we, offer the library the opportunity to purchase, new furniture, up to $6,000. Anything more after that to that? That's it.
That's something.
Who seconded? Well, we had two, Maria and Johanna, so pick one.
Whatever works. Johanna.
Meeny, meeny, miny, moe.
Yeah.
Did you see those?
Yeah.
So the last thing we need to, we
We
don't
didn't
really,
vote, oh, we can vote.
oh, sorry,
All
apologize.
in favor?
Fine.
Anyone against?
Okay. We actually don't need to vote on this, because it's not over the price, but I just wanted to make sure, I would hope that
Mhm.
everyone would be in support of staff development. You know, I'm just thinking of the school district and things that we've done, and I know Louis went to one last year, but I would like to provide some staff development for Deb, to go to a convention in Atlantic City for librarians. Could you just share what the price of, like, the room is, the cost of the workshop, and what you wanna go to?
It's 3 days, there's really 2 days that the Friday didn't really have any events that I was all that interested in, but the 2 days. One of them was a speaker from the Lenape tribe, and we've been talking about doing an event, Native American event next year, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to
Yes.
see what they have to offer, so that speaker I wanna see. There's also a workshop about bringing teens into the library, which I think would be interesting. And two vendors that I spoke to today actually are gonna be there, so that would be great to meet with them too. It's, comes out to, registration for the 2 days comes out to, I think, $315 or $215. There's a discounted rate, it's very confusing. If you're a member, which I am, it's a little bit less.
Yeah, one
So I
price.
think it was $100 for 1 day and then $215 for the other 2 days, but you can't separate the other 2 days, you have to, the way they do it is crazy.
It's like it's three something.
$315, but I think it might actually be a little less
Yeah.
because I'm a member, so I would get the discounted rate.
And then the-
And then they have a block of rooms at Harris where the event is for $79 for the night.
Yeah, so she just wants to stay one night.
Mhm.
And she's not asking for mileage, not asking for food or anything, just the one night. We did look at how they would whether they would take a check. They don't, at this point, they need, they're not accepting a check or a PO, but she can put it on her credit card and we can pay her back. So the only thing she won't be reimbursed for is the tax, but she said she's fine with that, so,
That's a no-brainer.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be interesting,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
a low cost.
So where
I-
is it?
Well, in Atlantic City.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I think
Your
it'll be
education
interesting.
and your, that helps
And this
us.
is the New Jersey Librarian Association?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Johanna has the floor.
I was gonna say, the library used to send the librarians
Yeah,
before,
okay,
and they did pay for them.
yeah.
They paid for their food.
Yeah.
I don't think you should have to pay for, I mean, we should be
Yeah.
able to cover that, and it should be something that's ongoing. Anytime there's something
That's gonna
that
benefit
would benefit the library, she should be going, or someone should be going,
Mhm.
represented.
you know?
I'll talk to the town. It's not gonna go over the 2,000, so as long as I know there's support, I'll talk to the town and see if. Well, actually, she does, the lunch is part of it, so the lunch is we
Yeah,
pay
they'll have
for,
like a-
it would just be
Yeah.
dinner cost, yeah, that maybe, I'll.
There's some places we can suggest to you.
and
But
sampling money as well.
I'll talk to Kevin and Bridget, and because it's coming up quickly, I'll just figure out.
Yeah, it's the end of this month,
Yeah.
28th, right, the week after Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We were just there last week, so.
Yeah.
Like Johanna was saying
That's
about
something
food,
that-
I don't see why she shouldn't be compensated
For
for
dinner
food,
too, and.
her food, her mileage, and tolls. I mean, that's my feeling.
Okay.
Well, it should be mileage to federal rate, and
Yeah.
it should be whatever the established per diem is for
Yeah,
Atlantic City.
good, good, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I think that's a
We'll
good
look
idea.
into it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Great. All right, and that was a lot, I'm sorry, but that was it, I needed votes on all of that. Most of it. Oh, can I share one more thing? We're getting T-shirts, we're getting concert T-shirts.
So, let me show the picture again, so
And we're-
everybody can see. We got
so-
T-shirts, this is the back of the T-shirt with the schedule for the summer concert.
Colorful.
And then on here is the little guitar, it's on the back of the library card, and it says 10th and E Streets, and it has Belmar Public Library, summer 2025.
Nice.
So,
So our staff's gonna wear them, we'll give you
we've got some for everybody.
T-shirts for you as well, but we're also gonna have them at the concerts. And we looked into one of those guns where you can, it was too expensive, so we're gonna throw them out into
We got a
the crowd.
slingshot.
And
We're gonna shoot
the reason I bring this
T-shirts.
up, even though, it's not over the, I really think, like, we should consider, that as, because it's pretty costly sometimes in the paper, and I don't know how many people still read the Coaster, I don't know, but like, you see things on TV, and not like that they look and decide that they're gonna go, but that, wow, there's a lot of stuff happening at the library. It's fun,
You're trying to
they're
generate clickbait.
friendly, what's that?
You're trying to generate clickbait.
Yeah, and T-shirts.
We got kids' T-shirts too for the kids'
Yeah,
concert, we're gonna
yeah.
throw some out at
Yeah,
them.
and so like, whatever ideas you have, things that I think it's a great way to promote what we're doing, and not just to have people come, our numbers are good. When I go over the numbers for our programs, the other librarians, directors are very impressed. And if you think about it, we used to think, well, maybe it's because of the food. We've been decreasing the food, and the numbers have been going up. And we've also been very selective, if the entertainment's bad, we don't bring them back. So we go and we research, and if it's someone that we think is good, we actually ask for references, and we call them, and if we can go see them. So, I want to compliment you, the last few months, the numbers have been great.
Yes.
And I wanted to say to Deb, in terms of taking on this patron thing, is like unbelievable. It's also, one of the things you're doing is researching whether B&T, our leasing company, is worth it. So she's been doing that, and you're able to meet them down there.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Comparing.
Yeah, and also, when we first got here, there were like, almost half of our books were missing. And now it's down to like 1,000, and you might say, oh, that's a lot. Not really when you count how long some of these books
Been here.
and whatnot. So she's cut it from 4,000 to 1,000, and they continue, they just don't stop. And we've also, We also had people from the schools that have been helping to,
Yes,
you know.
we had our
Yeah,
third intern. who
yeah.
Graduated from here,
Yeah.
and she was wonderful and a great help. She did the entire inventory upstairs, scanned every book in the building,
Yeah.
so that was
Yeah.
great.
And so it's a huge difference in terms of how organized the collection is right now, so. My philosophy is hire great people, get the hell out of the way, and every once in a while ask why, so it's working.
What's the status on the fax?
On the
It's
fact,
working.
it's.
The
it's-
new
So-
machine,
the
they
old-
sent it
We're
out.
gonna
So
The
throw
old
the old
machine
one?
is sitting over there,
the one
gonna be
that
heading out to
was
recycling.
fax.
You know, they have those rooms where you can actually sledgehammer
Oh, yeah.
it out,
Yeah.
that would be
Rage
one,
room.
I'd be right in there, because I worked on it for an hour and a half.
I
Except
tell
they
you,
hit people that wanna send faxes.
Oh, I would just be
Much
right.
better technology!
the day after we got the fax machine upstairs configured to that way, I got a phone call from Brother. Brother called saying, we heard you're having problems with your fax machine. What can
Really?
we do to help you get it back up and
Nothing
running?
now.
I said, it's dead, it's gone, we're getting it. And he goes, oh, I'm very sorry to hear that it wasn't working for you. I go, don't worry, the thing was a tank for over 10 years. It did great, don't worry about it, it
So I
served its
showed-
purpose.
So I showed Deb, they're still selling it on eBay.
Yeah,
It's the exact
yeah.
same one on eBay.
It's still a current model.
It's still a current
It's still
model.
a current model.
It's so
Those
funny.
things are tanks, but
But-
we finally.
So
did
it's
it
now
in.
working through the
Yes.
shore, the shore one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was basically that line that,
Yeah, it was, the line, it was faxing fine, it wasn't printing
Printing the
receipts,
receipt.
so they came in and they straightened that out. so
okay,
it's fine.
because I thought that would have been the easy,
Yeah,
so I was glad that worked out. Okay, my little techno worked.
What's that policy with the faxes again? They're
They're free.
we don't charge for fax.
Faxes are
just
free.
all together,
All
they're
together,
free for.
Yeah.
They're all free.
That's great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Find
Scanning,
yourself in a situation where you have to
scanning,
send a fax, you shouldn't be burdened anymore.
scanning is free too, just.
Great.
I
What
think
exactly does somebody need a fax for these days?
Basically
A lot
for
of the
HIPAA
doctors-
for HIPAA purposes, a lot of medical hospital things requires everything to be faxed. They have not fully digitized in a way, in a secure enough manner for their purposes. So, the vast majority of people faxing is through, doctors, appointments, things like that.
Oh.
Any kind of documentation,
State benefits too.
state benefits.
State
things
benefits,
like
a lot of
that.
people fax things to their
I
attorneys.
didn't do seniors.
Mhm.
You know what, I apologize, I thought at the last meeting we approved $20 for a library card for seniors. You know, all seniors, as long as they're not out of state, and I don't see it on the minutes, and we didn't do that, we just
Oh,
did
out
veterans.
of borough.
So
seniors.
out
Yes.
of borough seniors,
So when I
if
add
you're
that in here-
okay, if someone would be willing to do
Yeah, I thought we did that
do
too.
So seniors would be 20, you said?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna have a vote on that.
So if you're in Lake Como, you know, or any other town, you know, instead of 40, it's 20 for seniors, so we could have a resolution on that, that'd be great.
And I make a motion that we allow seniors from out of district, out of town, I should say, to have a $20 library fee for their library cards. And,
Yeah.
and what?
Annual. Just
Oh,
an
annual, I
annual.
thought you said and more, I'm like,
Yeah.
but they have to
Yeah.
be annual.
Say, yes,
Everyone's
we got
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
New
Okay.
Jersey only.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so moved.
Great, thank you.
I think we're open for comments now.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I have one more question. Is 62 senior, what is a senior? What is a senior?
65,
You
I
guys
would say
decide.
65,
right?
because I think that's
I
at the
think it's
beach.
65.
The beach is 65,
Yeah.
Let's be consistent.
so maybe we should be consistent
65.
with that
Yeah.
there, age.
I think so.
I think that's.
If that's the borough
Right.
standard, we should stick
Is
with that.
everybody okay, we just modify that?
Yeah, so it's
And then, so it's
65
in the
and older.
minutes, okay.
Okay, now comments.
Okay, I'd love to hear that there's a facility committee and they're meeting, and the survey, I can't believe we don't have one. I'm glad we're going with the survey, but I'm afraid, having been a member of the strategic plan committee, I think you missed the heart of what we wanted. We dreamed big, and I think your approach is not advantageous to our big dream. I think the approach would be the exact opposite. Look at the ADA, look at all the subcodes, I know there were 2 addition architects printed somewhere, they're somewhere. look what it would look like as a big place, look at what it would look like with the right bathroom, and then work backwards from there. I think doing the envelope, yes, it's a good idea, but if we're gonna do the envelope and then we're gonna scratch up the walls to move the boiler, or we're gonna do anything like that. So I love that there's movement, I love that there's interest, I love that people are talking stuff like this, but I think that again, your approach is the exact opposite of what you were saying. I didn't hear anything about a door, and I didn't hear anything about painting. That was spoken at the last meeting, and the door has always been the next thing after the windows, so that's a concern for me. How will you know that the people are here for the summer? These are just things I'm thinking about as you're doing it. The other thing is the Irish, the soda bread thing, awesome, I love it, wonderful, incredible. I saw many people that I didn't know. There were so many people there that I didn't know. And I love the idea, I'm not saying anything about that, but I think we're missing out on our locals now. I think the QR code, I'm a non-technology person, but I know you use it and you want to use it and everything like that, but I think it's defeating your purpose. I think the dancers, you sign up your dancers, and then immediately as soon as you open, their parents and their grandparents and their aunts and their uncles go to that QR code, and even if you look at your paper, you have more non-residents than residents. So I think that's who was in the audience, because I was serving sandwiches and I did not recognize any of these people. I was very few people, and I've been to, and it was the Irish soda bread thing. I was like, where's Tom? Where's this one? Where's that one? So I don't know. So I'm just, in my suggestion, and again, I'm anti-technology, but I think the QR code cuts out a lot of seniors, and it cuts out a whole generation of people that's just not going to do it. My phone does not have a QR code, and I'm not going to do it. And so I would come up with some kind of rollout, go to the senior housing first, then comply a list of the people that normally go from all your sign-in sheets, just do a database of who normally goes, then send it out to them, and then, open it up to, everybody else like that, have some sort of rollout, so we're not missing, like, I am that old that I feel like I am being washed away with the technology. Everything's a QR code. I'm not doing a QR code, so I can't do this. I can't go to that. I can't sign up quick. So every time something new is invented, we roll over a generation of people, and I just don't think that's the best thing. Big concern for mine is a neighbor of mine has a 1-year-old, and she is not vaccinated. She's absolutely proud of this fact, to my horrification. So my concern is your story times. I've never thought we'd have to come to something like that, but do you have, or would you think of a vaccination policy? Because if you're having, I don't know if she comes to story time, I hope she doesn't, but if you are having story time and you are now having children that are not vaccinated, I mean, that's just appalling to me. So you might think in the future of a vaccination policy for your story time, because you're having, anyway. Again, with the strategic plan, we were talking about the trees and that landscaping and everything like that. Same idea with the addition and all, same idea with the addition and all the facilities. I think the trees, the landscaping needs to be considered. I think we should put a moratorium on donations. I think we're beginning to look like overkill out there. I mean, it's gorgeous, I love it, but I think we should stop with people donating trees and bushes and everything, and really kind of make a plan. You really need to weed out some of those trees. So, and some of the trees, a couple of the trees looks like they're really going to be getting in trouble. So and again, it's in the strategic plan, I would ask for some sort of professional to come out and survey the property and give you an idea of that tree should, or this tree, or, I know that librarians say that the 2 trees in the front just drop so many leaves or something like that they block things. I'm not really sure about that. But that would be something that I would like to hear about. And I think that's everything. Yes?
At one point, we had talked about we needed transportation for seniors. That's something that
Yeah, so that had to be approved, we couldn't get it done in time by the board, because we were gonna use the buses from the
Right.
school, and it wasn't done in time. But, Jimmy said he was gonna be talking to the board about that.
Because it would be nice if maybe they could come to any of the concerts.
Yeah,
It's what seniors do,
Yeah.
to some of the concerts.
okay. On it.
I can
Or
continue
here.
to put out that they can call here to register. I think that part's really important, maybe we should be, I don't know whether we're already doing this, but
I've seen
call the
those- I've seen
library.
those two and a half
Call the
dozen times.
library, yeah.
Yeah.
QR
Call the
codes are done
library,
here,
you know.
they can do them easily
They
here.
can call and
People
be,
call.
and register, it's in your emails, right? That if
Yeah.
they, they can call here and register through, they just give their name.
Yeah, they could always call the registry.
Yeah.
I think
Also
maybe
talking
we
about
should do
opening up
more of a push with
registration
that.
to locals
Well,
beforehand.
Yeah.
she mentioned something that idea
2 weeks
that
before, say.
a phased announced
announced.
program like that, which is which I can put something together like
Yeah.
that, where we can announce it to specific targeted groups first, and give them the first chance to register, and then we go on, put like an outward,
Right.
thing.
I'm not in here that much, I've seen Louis sign up half a dozen people.
Good, yeah, great.
I wouldn't say it's particularly uncommon.
Hmm?
People call you,
Yeah, they call.
from other
A
places.
lot of people call me all
Maybe
the
we
time.
just need to do more word of mouth, that that's the,
Yeah.
I
if you
mean,
have a
because
problem.
I do agree, I mean, I know my mom, she still refuses to park on the beach because she's like, I don't know the park mobile thing.
Well, one of the
And
things.
she, you know what she's saying, that person, she needs that parking.
Well, one of the things we could do is something that I'm actually putting together for the Shoreline Club down in, at the Mayfair, is that putting together, like, say, a little instruction sheet, flyer that says, if you want to go to a Belmar Public Library event that requires a QR code, you can call the library if you need help registering to this event. And have this like a regular to-go-to a routine that they can follow. Oh, I want to go to this event, let me call Louis, or call the library. And any one of us, whether it be Debbie or Lorraine or Patty upstairs, they can take the phone call, pull up the form, and register them right on the spot.
I've seen
Why don't you,
that- I've seen
why don't
that
you
do
pay
it.
the town to put that on the marina sign?
Yeah,
That
we
would
do
be a
that?
good thing.
yeah,
That's a good idea.
okay.
Get that marina sign.
The fire department did it
That's
once in
marina
the
sign.
city.
I did,
Sharon
I
was
actually
born.
sat there in
Sharon
the
was
light,
born.
and I took a picture, I was so happy, I was
I
like,
go
yes.
around and I sit and I watch it, to make sure, so I can say, Sharon,
You
it's
best
on
not do
there."
that way around the
And once
clock,
it's
my friend.
on-
Mark, you
Let's
have
not
to,
do
you
that way
have
around
to
the
understand,
clock.
Mark, I've been trying to get this for like 2 years.
Okay.
Getting it on the digital sign, as we call it, yes.
So I can send that flyer out to all sorts of targeted groups, so like say the senior building, have it
Yeah,
posted
good.
over there. I can have it
What
sent
about-
to.
I have a question.
Sure.
What about on having it where, I don't know if anybody else thinks this is a good idea, but if only locals could call and register
No.
on the phone?
I don't know if we
If
want.
someone's eligible, we'll stick them on the list.
They're on the other list.
You know what, when do we have a lot of people here, we could say it at all our events, explain it at all our events, you know?
Yeah, so we
If
can
there's
do.
anyone you know that felt, uncomfortable signing up tonight because of, the QR code or anything with technology, we want everyone to know, tell your friends, we can say it at the Pat Roddy concert, we can say it at the Saturday authors, we can send it out in an email to people, we can put it on the marina sign, we'll get the word out, we'll get it out.
Mhm.
The only problem with that is they're not there because they weren't able to register.
Well, the key to that is gonna be a rolling announcement, constantly going, that could be part of our messaging going forward.
Yeah.
Whenever we announce an event or whatever, we send an email blast, we'll add that, we'll include that bit into our monthly newsletters that goes out, email blast, so people goes in. So we can get the word out numerous ways, and I think.
And
that will
ask
really
people to help spread the word, when we're at the Pat Roddy concert, when we have a lot of people, please help us, we know there's some people that do not have email, don't feel comfortable, and if they're any of your neighbors or anything, and we'll go to the senior center, so we'll get the word out.
2 last things, and I know Danielle's not here, so I don't know if you have any information of the fishing club, the fishing thing, and the
Yeah,
esports,
so
how
it's,
did it?
yeah, so it's going, there was a question on the requisition and us paying, and so I finally met with Lorraine and took care of that, so, that's taken care of, and then we'll get another, invoice shortly with all the things, but everything is going,
And I
they
know
had,
They
They
had
had
a
a trip.
competition, right, or something?
Yeah, they had a competition, they also had a couple trips, right? with the
Just two
daughters?
double trips.
Yeah, 2 trips, and, you know, and I explained to the town that it's easier for us to be billed rather than try to have vendor packets for all of the individual people that are going, you know, because it's not just the advisor.
Right.
There's paras that are going, there are other teachers that are going, so really they're sending, and you gave an amount, and, it's under the amount that you set forth, I think it was 2,500. And, you know, it's part of our plan too, we have to get our Wi-Fi up strong.
Well, it's cost efficient to use existing infrastructure
Yeah,
through a vendor
yeah,
as a soup to nuts product than to try and piece it together
yeah,
ourselves.
yeah,
The incremental cost for us to try and piece it together ourselves would be more
right,
than getting the bundle from the vendor.
right,
Just so happens the vendor is a school,
right, yeah,
you know, but it's, and two, if you look dollar for dollar at what we spend to the different demographics within the library, that age demographic is vastly underserved by our organization.
And I think
we
the
do have a book club starting, just so you know, we got one of the teachers that's gonna start it, what, this summer, is it?
We're waiting for,
Yeah.
to clarify a date, she's getting the group together, she sent her information, she's picking a book, she's got her kids, she
Yeah.
just has to let me know what date and day of the week and time she wants to do the group, for that age group.
What grade, I forget, what's it?
It's gonna be like 6 to 8,
60, yeah,
That'll be good. That'll be good.
grade, 6 to 8 grade.
Great, I figured as much.
yeah.
And we had talked about Wi-Fi, and I know you just mentioned it now. One of the things that we had talked about a couple of months ago was possibly getting someone here part-time, because we knew that we have an issue constantly going on with the computers and so on. So is that
I
something?
did speak to that company, he had asked to wait, he mainly works with schools, he used to work with the town, but he asked, is there any way we could talk during the summer? And kind of work with him to
Okay.
organize it. So I can have that for the July meeting.
Okay. And just to let you know, the July meeting should be July 14th.
So I was hoping at that meeting, we could meet here, make it kind of quick, and then go somewhere for
Yes.
drinks, you said it?
Sounds
Drinks. So if, I
Bastille
know,
Day, yes.
yeah, if you know, it's a,
Champagne.
yeah, so hopefully if you could keep that on your calendar, that we could just walk into town and enjoy ourselves after a meeting, if you're interested. Okay, what is it, July 14th?
July 14th.
Mhm.
Did our engineer mention anything about fire exit for upstairs and whether that is something that is doable, what that would look like?
If anything's doable, it'd be extremely costly to come up with a solution for that. Single room egress, we need
We need
code for single room egress.
It's
We
just
need
that
it,
we do
yeah.
have, it's what, 40, our capacity up there is 40, is that right?
52 per floor.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, so the only
Because
time
this
we're
is
closed.
not, this doesn't count, the elevator apparently
Does
does
not
not count.
Yeah, but I think.
But I, when I spoke to Ed, right, Ed is,
Jim
Fire.
Morris?
no, the fire.
Oh,
fire-
Ed, yeah,
Ed,
fire.
he had told me it's a little bit over 50 per floor, and I don't think we've ever, we kind of keep it to 30 down here as our max, and if we go over 30, then we go to Taylor, and I don't think we've ever had 50 upstairs. Well, during our kids,
Christmas.
yeah,
Still not there.
still short of that, but,
Still short of
yeah,
that.
yeah, still
I
short
mean,
of
it was brought up by an employee who was concerned, so I
Karen
think
adult
that,
kid, right?
you know, if we could just keep that,
yeah.
keep that in the front of our minds, that.
It does meet,
It's code compliant for
Yeah.
egress for the
Yeah.
use and occupancy.
To have just the one open door? Oh.
one floor,
Yes,
one,
the school
Yeah.
usually shares
thought
it
the
with
law
us,
was
and
two.
I buy extra copies of it.
not if, I spoke to Ed, and he said we meet compliance for both,
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
upstairs.
I
Take
should
care
get
of
it,
it. Okay,
yeah, I
good.
should get it soon.
All right, anything extra?
Yes. I just want to say that the Beach Readers Book Fair was a great event. Louis got everyone in, I don't know how you did it. He got all of us in there somehow, make sure everyone got set up. we're all carrying boxes of books, easels, whatnot, video stuff. But it was a great event and we had a great time. So
Wow.
thank you. And yes, Maria was there, I think the whole day with Adriana helping out, and that was great too. So thank you.
I was saying, I thought maybe the poor weather was an asset, because everyone had something or somewhere to go on that foggy day.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
it,
It was a plus, it was a plus.
Thank you very much.
And we'll always keep it right before May 1st, so we don't have to worry about parking.
Parking.
That's right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Big
yes, that was great, the free
Yeah.
parking.
plus, yeah. All right, so we're gonna adjourn this portion of our meeting, we have closed session coming up. So, do we have a motion to do anything?
Yeah. Motion to go into closed
Closed
session.
session.